Hey everybody, it's Marvel Maniac coming to you guys with the very first video regarding any of the comic content that we will have on this channel. Now, I want to talk about what got me into comic books. So, and going back to when it all started, I was about 4 or 5 years old. My dad was an avid comic book collector before, he had kids and such. And he had like this huge collection of Spider-Man. Now, going back to his past a little bit, he had to raise his brother and sister pretty much like he was the parent because his mom and dad were always gone, and he just felt the need to be the adult of the family. So comic books were his go-to area. Back then they were cheap. You could get them for like 25 cents, 5 cents. Nowadays they're like $3-4, which pretty much are the equivalent of what they paid back then. Like, chips and stuff were pretty much the same price. But he really loved his comic books. His favorites were things like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Me, personally, I have yet to read Doctor Strange, but I will for you guys because I want to get as much content on here as possible. But it was like his own personal world, where he could escape reality, where he could have fun without dealing with the worldly issues. And as time went on, he eventually had a family. He had me and my 2 brothers. He had my mom and stuff like that. So then he pretty much boxed up his comics. But then one day he decided to, let's put them on the shelf, display them. Then a few weeks later, we ended up getting a kitten named Frosty, who's no longer with us, sadly. But as that cat got older, he ended up clawing all my dad's comic books. So they went from being probably worth a lot of money to being worth absolutely nothing. Now, once they were destroyed, I was able to read them. And I really fell in love with Spider-Man. And then I was like maybe a year or 2 later, maybe not even, like Spider-Man the movie came out, and it was amazing. Like, we had Green Goblin, we got to meet Mary Jane, Peter Parker. It was amazing. Spider-Man 2, still one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time according to critics. The one with Dr. Octopus being one of the most iconic Spider-Man villains, if not like, at least up there with like Rhino, Sandman, Venom. And then along came Spider-Man 3, which destroyed the franchise, but that is personally the movie that got me way into comic books. I absolutely loved it. I know Venom was portrayed wrong, Sandman was not the way he was in the comic books, and New Goblin, well, Harry. But I still had fun with it, and it was great. I seen the movie like 4 times in theaters, then we bought it on like a Blu-ray collection when I got older, and it was just absolutely amazing. Now, continuing on, we ended up getting more movies such as Iron Man, The Hulk, Thor, Avengers. Right now, I just finished, like the other day, I just finished watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I highly recommend you guys go see that in theaters before it's out, and once it's out, I highly recommend you guys pick it up on Blu-ray or DVD. Excellent movie. Brings up some cameos from comic books and stuff like that, so it is really, really awesome. But getting back into the comic book chat here, and what made me actually get into comic books. What made me get into comic books was my dad. But one day, me and my girlfriend decided to go down to Kapow Comics here in Lethbridge, Alberta. Great comic book store. It has more than just comics for those who aren't into just collecting comics. And I personally found Spider-Man 2099. Now, about a year before we went down to Kapow, I went to Chapters with her, and I found the Volume 1 collection of Spider-Man 2099, which is the collection of issues 1 through 8 from the original 90s series. And so that was really cool, and I really got into it. I never finished reading it all, because I kind of lost it. But then I got the comic books for the 2014 series and some of the 2015 to 2017 one, and it is amazing. So in-depth, so awesome. I had played the game Edge of Time back in the past, and I absolutely loved it. So what I'm saying is Spider-Man 2099 is probably my comic book passion. Now, my favorite issue, I do have some of my issues with me right here. And the most recent one I have is technically the end of the last series. Not the current series, because I haven't been able to find them. But it is Spider-Man 2099 issue 13? 12. 12 was the final one. I thought 13 was. I think we're like on 15 or something in the new one. Yeah, and spoiler alert, this is Tempest, which is kind of Miguel's girlfriend. I don't know if she's necessarily the girlfriend in this current series, but in the next series I know for a fact because it's one of the big story arcs. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So if you guys enjoyed this short video on why I personally love comic books, then please like, comment, and subscribe. We will have more comic book content coming soon. We will have movie reviews. We will have adventure vlogs, which is a series kind of like this where I just sit down and talk about my personal life and what made me like certain certain like comics, videos, games, etc. We will also have superhero let's plays on the channel, games like the new Spider-Man game for PlayStation 4. We'll have like the new Marvel game. I think it's like an Avengers game or something like that. We'll have stuff like that. So see you guys next time. Peace out. This has been Marvel Maniac. Bye.